to mention free refreshment.
Hey there everyone, if you're watching this special and you are curious about the background behind my friends and so-called friends. But before we can get into that, we need a little information on our auras. You might know about Vexus, a planet that Vexus Dylan II created. Well, Vexus wasn't exactly created from scratch to what it is now. It had quite the history, and that's where we come in. There were 3 auras before Vexus started to take form. The DSBT aura, the Dream aura. The DSBT aura is where it all began in 2001. DSBT is short for Del School Blindsure, which is a combination of Dylan's Adventure and Blind School, 2 stories that were drawn and colored. Other stories were later on added, along with things like character biographies and songs. The Dream aura came next, which is where most of us came from, along with the content for Vexus. As the name suggests, this aura was mainly dictated by dreams. They, along with a list of characters, were kept in giant pieces of paper called the Weird Dream List. Last was the number 10 aura, the most mysterious and shortest aura of them all, which is weird, since it is logically the most similar to Vexus. The plot is largely forgotten, but the characters introduced in it is what stand out. I hope this is enough insight to keep you clear when we tell you about ourselves. If you still give a crap about this, then we can finally start. I'm Coden, and I was present in all 3 auras, being the main character and all. In the DSBT aura, I was in Dylan's Adventure, and you know what? Fine. My name in the DSBT and Dream auras was Dylan. I did a pretty shitty job at hiding that fact, but it's, Code. Oh right, I was the titular character in Dylan's Adventure. I was an artificial being created by 2 robots in a lab, but escaped and later became the leader of the squad that consisted of me, Amber, Frog, and Buzz. After our many journeys, it ended with my battle against my sworn enemy, Mr. Crush. We had quite the battle, but I won in the end, except he deflected my shock ball with his final bit of energy and killed me. But I got better, as seen in a preview for a sequel to Dylan's Adventure. Dylan's Adventure 2 was never actually made, but still, in the Dream aura, I was a major character, but didn't show up too much. I don't want to get into the details, since that would steal the thunder from guys like Alex and Portia. Now in the number 10 aura, my robotic origins were brought back, and I could communicate with my friends using a video device hidden under a panel on my wrist. Also, my moveset was almost exactly like Coden's in the early stages of Vexus, like Helicopter, a move that made a propeller appear on my finger to fly with. Mr. Crush was my enemy again, and, like Relic and Vexus, can only be killed by me. Don't forget that your shock balls were called etc. bombs, and your etc. bomb launcher looked like a pencil sharpener on a stick. Thank you, Andy. And it was called ETC bomb. Yeah, even for a good chunk of the Vexus aura. Get off my back, you guys. Friends like these, I swear. Well, Amber's up next. I'm Amber, and I, as Coden told you, was one of the main characters in Dylan's Adventure during the DSBT aura. I was the moral support behind the group and was Coden's girlfriend since I was lifted from a girl he had a crush on around the time. I was absent from the Dream aura, but oddly came back in the number 10 aura as a minor character. In that aura, I, even more oddly, had powers revolving around outer space like summoning meteors or miniature stars. I'm Frog, even though I don't look much like one. I was supposed to look more humanoid, similar to Michigan J Frog, but you came out horribly wrong. Hey, if you guys are gonna interrupt to add your 2 cents like jackasses, then so am I. Anyway, I was the third member of the squad in Dylan's adventure, but adventures weren't real. He was a big chicken who was scared to go on adventures. Hey! Surprisingly, I was in the Dream Aura as a minor character and I had a power. I could turn the surrounding area into a grassy plain with a move called, well, Grassy Plain. It sounds stupid, but it comes in handy when... Okay, it's pretty stupid. Here's Fire Guy. I'm Fire Guy, and my involvement in the Beta Aura was as minor as a wet match, to say the least. You see, I didn't even appear in Dylan's adventure, which, according to the weird dream list, is where I should have. It turns out that there was a version of Dylan's adventure made before the one in DSBT, and that's where I might have came from. I existed, I can tell you that. An old DSBT poster proves it. Greetings, I am Robo. I appeared as a toy in the sequel to the Blind School story in the aura of DSBT. You would conclude that my involvement ends there, but I made another appearance in a song during said aura, as well as the poster that Fire Guy mentioned. I'm Snake. I'm Bale. I'm Balloon. And I'm Duck. We were only present in the DSBT aura, and not in any significant role. Yeah, our story was part of a few side stories that didn't affect these hours at all. We were sort of a children's story. I guess, if you wanted to, you could call us the obligatory kid appeal characters of this. My name is Killer. Coden egotistically neglected to mention that he wasn't the only one who was present in all 3 auras. I don't exactly like or know you, you know. In the DSBT aura, I was in 2 of the 3 stories in a segment called Top 3 Weird Dreams, which is exactly what it sounds like. I messed with this group with my warping abilities in 1, and faced my rival in a motorcycle race in the other. In the Dream Aura, I was given a sibling, but not much else. In the number 10 Aura, I was given a sibling of a different gender. My warping ability was upgraded to dimensional travel using a move called Dimension Claw. Killjoy here. I was in the Dream Aura as Killer's sister. We hardly spent any time together, which really upset me. I also apparently had an unknown 6th secret. I'm Andy. In the Dream and number 10 auras, I remained pretty much the same. Although I got more stuff in the number 10 aura, like a move called Comedy Bomb in a second form, which activates when I'm electrocuted just like in Vexus. Speaking of Vexus, my personality is the exact opposite of the current one, who is serious, tough, and strategic. I'm more of a comic relief character. In the Dream Aura I wasn't, but unlike Coden, I don't need to reveal my embarrassing beta name. I disagree, Buck. Anyway, I was arguably the secondary main character in the Dream Aura, appearing in almost as many dreams as Coden did. Speaking of many, this aura is where I got all my forms, and it's pretty interesting how. My second form's from something called Musical Mission, where, get this, when Vex is Dylan, the second, right, when he would listen to the radio, he would actually plan out these journeys that we had, with songs randomly thrown in like some kind of Disney movie. The look of my third form came from this guy, Vexus Dylan, the second. Right. Vexus Dylan, the second, saw who looked a lot like me, only with different colored clothes and without the blue hair. That's weird, but not weird enough for a mention. I changed into that form when I was a new kid at this school in one dream, and the students started teasing me, which ticked me off and warped me to my third form. My fourth form was apparently the strongest character in this aura, which is saying something, since that would mean I overpowered the creator of the world. The number 10 aura was pretty much like Bill was now, only without an X or GG form. Hey, I'm Whitney. I only appeared in the Dream Aura as Bill's sister, but I was friendly, unlike Jennifer, his sister in Vexus. I had a rivalry with Coden in, of all things, Pilot Wings for the Nintendo 64. He was afraid I was going to beat his scores in the jetpack missions or something. My power was summoning a small yellow robot with a large rocket engine on it that kamikazed into my opponents. Later on, I gained a second form that was inspired, of all things, Abe's tattoo initiation from Oddworld Abe's Exodus for the PlayStation 1. I gained a jetpack and some markings on my face, but I never got to show off my power. Hi, I'm Martha. Despite being a main character in Vexus, I was only a recurring extra character in the Dream Aura. I had amazing control over ice, like summoning clouds that would rain ice, starting a blizzard, or just using my standard crystal shot move.
You mean freeze and kill.
And like Coden's etc. bombs, that name wasn't changed until later on in the Vexus Aura.
Now I see where Coden was coming from. The number 10 aura is where I really shine, which is weird, considering how mysterious it is. I had a troubled past where I was abused by an albino man with a whip. Flash forward, my house really deserves mention here. It was an igloo built into the side of a wrecked wooden ship. In the wooden ship part of my house were jars of chemicals and remedies stacked high. I was like a scientist or something in that aura. Also, Ice Age from this aura didn't knock me out, but instead of killing my opponent with ice, it just froze them solid. Oh, and in some kind of book with bios of one character from different series, in my profile, it mentioned I have a somewhat country personality. I have no flippin' idea what that means, so take it as you will. I'm Portia, and I have the honor of being the first character introduced in the Dream Aura, along with Coden. I met him when I saved him from falling to his death from a cliffside. The culprit was a ghost named Boo that could throw white balls that turned whoever they hit invisible, which he did to us. Back then, I could fire pink rings from my eyes, sorta like laser vision, which I used to beat Boo. I appeared here and there, but I don't think I ever got another major role. The whole thing with Boo was carried over to the number 10 aura, and it played out nearly identically to the Dream aura. Only I had telekinesis and Boo looked like death wearing a white cloak.
What's up? I'm Kayla. I was Portica's best friend in the Dream Aura, despite the fact that I hardly did anything. I was just kinda there, you know? I did do something useful in the mentioned musical mission, though. To enter this pyramid, we had to crack a code, which is one of those slidey panel pictures thingies, and I was the only one who was able to figure it out. Also, there's this thing called Counter Adventure that me and the cast from Musical Mission were in. Vexus Dylan II drew and cut us out on pieces of paper and made them go on adventures around his house. And there were these bosses that were really just household objects that served as monsters they had to fight.
Kayla? Why would you mention that? It's kind of irrelevant.
To give the viewers more information on our unique history.
I'm Dave, and this is Evil Balloon, my partner, and he's in no way based off that balloon brat. I can tell you who I was based on, but it's almost as pathetic as Coden is. In the Dream Aura, I appeared in the second dream as that wimp's rival after he got all pissy when I shoved him into a wall in a quarry. Evil Balloon and I nearly knocked that scrub out. Much later, it escalated into me trying to kill him. I don't know how or why, or even what happened, but it's probably in that weakling's best interest that it stays that way.
Hey, name's Cody. Like Dave and Portia, I appeared very early in the Dream Aura, the 4th dream to be exact. Coden was weirded out and intrigued by me, so he followed me into my secret chamber, and I promptly threw a black potion bottle at him that burned his face. Then I decided I might as well show him my secret, a crystal dragon. It's exactly what it sounds like, and I have complete command over it, but I sealed it in the chamber due to its phenomenal power. My name is Alex, and I was one of the most important characters in the Dream Aura, probably more so than Bill here. I made my appearance in an iconic dream called I Spear You, You Spear Me. In this dream, I had 2 identical girls as bodyguards that could use spears. Their names were creatively Girl 1 and Girl 2, although a freaking DSBT coloring and activity book of all things claims their moves were different. Then again, it also claims Who Is This Guy was the first weird dream and spell balls appeared in this one. So, anyway, I had this guy named Matthew on the lookout. He could use fire and ice missiles. Coden and Portia happened to stumble upon my lair, and I wasn't going to let them leave. However, They eventually managed to escape, but I came across Coden again after abandoning my guard so I could hunt him down. Somehow, he changed me from his enemy to his ally. One of his greatest and most useful ones, in fact. There were times when I was antagonistic towards him and his friends, but that's what made me a neutral in that aura.
I'm Seth, and I was a lot like Alex in the Dream aura of the whole enemy-turned-friend deal. However, I was more of an enemy. I was a recurring threat who often set up bases that Coden and his friends would have to infiltrate and drive my various henchmen and I out of. Later on, I joined his side, but I wasn't nearly as close to him or important to the story as Alex was. My signature move was launching exploding blue toy airplanes, which comes from a character's special attack from a video game called Power Stone 2 or something.
Greetings, I am Asia. I was a very minor character, having only a single notable part in the storyline of the Dream aura. However, I was one of the first characters in that aura, showing up in the 6th dream as a host for a big party at my house. I made my official appearance later on as a foreign exchange student at the school that some dreams were set in. Hi, I'm Autumn. I was a minor character only in the Dream era too, but I had a couple notable quirks. First, I loved to race. Second, I owned a bunch of helicopters. And third, I rode a magic carpet.
I'm Lisa, and that's InsaniT, my partner. I appeared in the Dream aura at the same time Quirky Asia did, crashing her party in more ways than one. You'll be shocked to know that I also love to skateboard, and I have an ally other than Sandsnake that you do not want me to bring on you. I hope this special has lessened the insanity of DSBT, at least a little bit, and if it didn't, I hope you were at least entertained and or intrigued by the history. Oh, and if you are a fan of DSBT InsaniT, like our Facebook page. It's in the link in the video. Andy, I don't think we can advertise like that. Why? Are they gonna get Viacom involved and pull the plug on this series? We'll still have animated duels, Coden. We'll still have animated duels.